My Hero Academia chapter 317 is out. And to be honest, I didn't want to make this video. I had no creative desire to create today, but I wanted to show you all that sometimes in life you really got to push through your feelings, because feelings are like food. They come and they get digested, they go. And if I want to achieve my goals, I can't be a slave to my feelings, and I'm learning to mentally break through that right now. I will get it. So in this breakdown of My Hero Academia chapter 317, one of the things that I want to take a lot of time and focus on is the relationship between Deku and All Might. I think the dynamics of Deku and All Might is probably one of the most interesting dynamics as far as relationships in the entire story. And mainly is due to the fact that All Might is literally the only character in the entire story of My Hero Academia who has felt the burden that Deku is currently going through in the story. All Might, when he had One for All, was a symbol of peace. He was the one that everyone looked up to, and he was the one who single-handedly brought the crime rate from whatever percent it was to under 4%. He stood on the mantle of justice and said that I'm going to be the person that everyone in the entire world, or at least in Japan, but you know, the My Hero Academia. But All Might took the responsibility of heroism as a whole and became the symbol of what it means to be a hero. And when I see what happens in this chapter with All Might and Deku, it just breaks my heart, because Deku is not looking at All Might as somebody who truly understands what he's going through. And it makes sense as to why he wouldn't have that mindset, because All Might is somebody who has been with him throughout his journey. And if we're going to be real, he probably looks at All Might as a father figure that he needs to take care of because of his predicament. Because originally I thought Deku was being very stubborn to All Might right now, but it's not that he's being stubborn at all. I think he's just so scared. He's scared of what things may happen based on the things that he already know about All Might in the past. The combination of All Might telling Deku the truth about 𝚲𝚙𝚅 and his relationship, and how 𝚲𝚙𝚅 literally told All Might that he was going to die a gruesome death in about 6 years, alongside the manipulation and the games that All For One has been playing with Deku over the last couple of encounters. I think Deku is just so scared and concerned about All Might, and he feels like he's going to take up all the burden of All Might's pain and try to solve it. But I don't think it's gonna work. And it's not because I think he has the power, and instead he's using the fact that he does have the power to justify why he's trying to leave All Might. But it's actually what I said earlier in the video, which is that All Might is the only person that truly understands what Deku is going through. And All Might literally is the only person in the entire world that can lead him, or at least put him in a spot that is favorable in his favor. So why would you not listen to the guidance of the man who is a former symbol of peace, the person who effectively did defeat All For One, although he didn't kill him, and the person who obviously wants the best for you? Now, it may be wrong, but that's just how I perceive this entire situation. It makes a lot of sense, but it's something that I feel like is really interesting to make their dynamic more fascinating to me, especially because I know that All Might die. And if All Might does indeed die, which all the implication points to him actually dying, then it'll hurt even more, because the relationship they had was severed because of Deku's stubbornness. It's literally the exact parallel of the relationship from All Might and 𝚲𝚅. But obviously 𝚲𝚙𝚅 and effectively All Might in this situation would not have any gripes for what happened, and All Might would very much still encourage Deku, if he dies, to continue on and maybe have his I am here moment. But it's just such a sad realization when you see Deku is going through so much pain that he doesn't really know what to do, and he goes away from the person that is the only person that can help him out in the entire world, just because he cares about him and he doesn't want anything to happen to him. And of course, after reading it, it was very depressing, but I kind of just made up in my mind that I'm just going to concede to the fact that Horikoshi is going to take me where he wants to, and that all I want to do now is just read the series and just enjoy All Might while he is still alive. I think the most fascinating and the most relatable thing that came out of this chapter was 𝙤𝚘𝚅. I purposely try not to mention 𝙤𝚘𝚅 in my live reaction, even though it was a live stream, because I wanted to really sit back and think about how it can apply to the real world, because it very much does apply to the real world, and it applies to the profession that I am doing currently right now. 𝙤𝚘𝚅 quit being a hero, but he didn't quit being a hero because he couldn't do the hero work, and instead he quit being a hero simply because he became a human more so than he thought he was ever before. Yeah. Saying that yes, there's a lot of support on the side of the heroes, but that one piece of criticism, that one negative person, screams way louder than the 10 positive people that are saying that he's doing a good job. And in the beginning, he thought he was different. He thought he could persevere through that cycle of negativity and positivity. But in the end, he realized he was not at all equipped to be able to take that type of damage, so he decided to not be a pro hero anymore. Somebody in my live stream asked me a question, something along the lines of, what does it take to be a YouTuber? And I set that question off to the side, and I addressed it later on in the video when something provoked me to talk about that specific question. And in my speech of what it takes to be a YouTuber, I mentioned 𝙤𝚘𝚅's speech because it very much relates to that specific topic. You're not looked at as much of a man or a human. You're looked at as a celebrity. You're looked at as a content creator. You're looked at as a influencer. You're looked at as somebody who is superior to other people because you bring some value to them. And as a YouTuber, you don't really consider how that affects you at all. You still view yourself as a human because you very much are a human, but everyone everyone else is viewing you as some celebrity or somebody who is looked at as superior than other people in the world, or somebody that everyone goes to for a particular solution to whatever problem that they have. And with that, you get praised. You get praised a lot. And sometimes you get consumed in the praise of people saying you're underrated. You deserve so many subscribers. You deserve so many likes and so many views. You're underrated. You're so great. You're so awesome. Great video, great everything. You get so consumed in that you think that you're so much of a great, likable, higher person than you really are. And taking all of that praise sets you up for failure because you're not going to be used to getting criticized and viewed differently than what you previously accepted. When 𝙲𝚘𝚙𝚢𝚛𝚒𝚑 says that one negative person was louder than 10 positive people, that is the most truest statement that you could possibly think of. Because when people praise you as a YouTuber, you're thinking, of course they'll praise me in some cases because I put all my energy and my passion and my love into something and people enjoy it. But when one singular person, not like the passion that you put, the energy that you put, the timing that you put into what you're doing, you can't stop thinking about why they don't like it. Are you enough? Are you good enough? Are you even equipped to do what you're doing? Every YouTuber and every content creator on any platform goes through this exact same thing. And a ridiculously large majority falls into the 𝙲𝚘𝚙𝚢𝚛 category where they realize that maybe this just isn't for me. So to the person who asked me, what does it take to be a YouTuber? The answer is simple. What it takes to be a healthy YouTuber, and I'm saying healthy because I feel like mental, physical, and emotional, spiritual health matters more when it comes to creating content than creating content itself. And I'm in the process of working on that right now. But what it takes to be a healthy YouTuber is simply understanding and detachment. You have to understand that not everybody will like you. Not everything will come to you just because you like it or you want it or you're passionate about it. And you have to understand why you're doing what you're doing. And for detachment, you have to detach yourself from your creation. The moment you publish a video, don't have any type of emotional connection to somebody who is saying something negative or positive to what it is that you put out. Put passion into what you're doing, but don't care about what other people say about what you're doing. You also have to detach yourself from the notion that you are special or that you are cool or important because people want to watch your videos. You don't want to get too high on the highs of people praising you because more often than not, you're going to be too low on the low when people are not praising you. So you can't forget that you are a human at the end of the day and that you need to be respected as such. And that's what I'm trying to do with my branding and my content. I want y'all to know who I am as a person because I'm just a My Hero Academia fan that just makes videos. I'm no different from you. I'm just making videos about the things that we talk about. I'm so sorry that I went on a little tangent about YouTube, but it connects so much to what 𝙲𝚘𝚙𝚢𝚛 was saying, and that's why 𝙲𝚘𝚙𝚢𝚛 easily, if he was so much more into the story, he would easily be one of my favorite characters because of what he did. It takes a lot to do what he did, and it takes even more to stay in being a hero even though he's feeling what he's feeling. So I applaud Horikoshi for writing a character such as 𝙲𝚘𝚙𝚢𝚛 in the story, and the decision that 𝙲𝚘𝚙𝚢𝚛 made was the best decision for himself because he realized that maybe it's just not for him. In the beginning of the video, I was not going to continue to make this video, but god dang it, I'm not giving up on this, bro. I really am not. I'm super excited. And I think the last thing that I want to talk about in the video that is really interesting, and I want you all to at least know about it or at least have more of an idea about it because I feel like this is something that's huge in the future of the story, is when Mount Lady mentioned why All For One hasn't told everyone about One For All, especially if you consider the fact that if everyone knew about One For All, then everyone will be able to bombard Deku and try to find out how they can get the quirk and everything. Basically, it'll put Deku at such a disadvantage. Why would All For One not pursue that, even if that means that they would have to lock Deku up or something like that? Because in all reality, if they do have to lock him up, then that gives All For One and Shigaraki enough time to get Shigaraki back up to speed and try to get him 100% singularity to be able to effectively defeat Deku and take One For All. Now, Endeavor does say that because All For One more likely does know about this, his silence means that he doesn't want that to happen. So it could easily be something as simple as he doesn't want them to hide Deku. He wants Deku to continuously pursue him, and that's probably a part of his plan. And maybe I'm looking too far into it, but I think of it as something as more interesting than that. I think it's very much possible that All For One doesn't want to tell everyone because there's some secret ability inside of One For All if it's not transferred to him properly. And of course, we have no idea what that is, but it might tie into the reason why All Might said that he will never ever tell anybody, heroes, civilians, friends, or anything alike, about what One For All is, because it's very dangerous for somebody to know about it, and I don't know why. And being that that is something that All Might has been constantly saying throughout the entirety of the series, which makes no sense because he's the one that told Deku about it like within a couple of seconds of meeting him, but we're not gonna talk about that. But All Might's concern for why people shouldn't know about One For All could be the exact same concern that All For One has of why people should not know about One For All. Now, what that concern is, I don't know, but maybe I have to go back and see if there's any context clues as to what it could be, and maybe I do a theory video on that dropping this week, so hopefully you all enjoy that. Win your zone every single day.